Hello everyone, I am back. And unfortunately, I don't have my remote mic yet, but it should be in late today, so tomorrow's video will sound better, hopefully. Anyway, all right, so let's see. I have made the hood for the C6 to C2 conversion. I've made the back hatch for the C6 to C2 conversion. In fact, it's a split window. And then, I made the rear quarter, which is way back there in the corner. So that means the back of the car is done. The hatch can go on top of the back. The doors molds are somewhere around here. They're dirt simple. I mean, they're almost flat. What did I do with those things? Oh, there they are. All right, so there's the door molds. There's nothing to those. I was thinking about doing those in carbon fiber. I want to eventually do carbon fiber and can't get any simpler than that, but then that would be the only carbon fiber part. So I'm not sure if it's worth doing. Anyway, it's a thought. Here's the hood that goes to the C2 Grand Sport. So if you remember right, this hood scoop or hood needs to be grafted on to the hood that fits on the C6, which will make my conversion from a C6 to a C2 Grand Sport. In fact, it's going to be a 63 Grand Sport. It's not going to be accurate, so I'm going to go ahead and put a split window in it, even though there was no such thing as a Grand Sport with a split window. Oh, and there's one of my temporary split windows that I did just, again, for test fitting, and unfortunately whacked it up to steal some parts for the C8 to C2 conversion. Neither here nor there. These are the mold pieces for the front end for the C6 to C2. You can see there's a lot of them. So my process now is these were sitting out in the weather, so you can see they're dirty. We made these fender openings because we thought we were going to use them on the C8 to C2 conversion. Ended up not using them. And so anyway, my process now is like it has been with the rest. I've got to clean these up, soap and water, polish them with some polish, wax them several times, and then apply the mold release to it. Okay, and that's probably going to take the rest of the day at least. I want to pull that split window out of the mold, but the longer I let it set, the better off it is. The other thing is that the hood looked like it was curved the wrong direction. I don't know because I don't have a C6 here or C6 hood. So to help with that, I went ahead and put the weight on that, spread it between the split window hatch to try to get it to at least curve the other direction. I figure it's going to be a whole lot easier to get it flat again than it will be to get that curve in there. And remember, this thing is still curing, even though it's been a couple of days. Fiberglass continues to cure for a while. So I figure put the bend in it now. I can always unbend it later. The only other thing is I rearrange the shop. Oh, that's why. Okay, so I rearranged the shop because the tenants in the building, these are a bunch of units, and unfortunately they're apparently connected somehow. And so the smell from the fiberglass resin was bothering them and they complained about it. So I told the landlord that I would move everything as close to the door as possible when I'm working, and in fact I would work outside when possible, which is why everything's scattered out there. And then I've got the big fan. I'm going to go get another big fan, and that way if I do have to work inside, which I will when the temperature gets colder, I can at least blow the air out, open the front door and get a draft and do what I can to minimize the smell. All right, let's see. Oh, so along that lines, everything that was in the way had to be moved. So you can see I just basically stacked everything over here. There's the fenders for the Delahaye USA Pacific right there. I've got to mock all of that together so I can figure out where the wheels and tires go, so that we can figure out how do we need to change the chassis to fit the suspension, to fit the body. That's on my list. On my list also is to mock up the GT40 again, because the radiator may not fit correctly. So I've got to look at that. But that is not a high priority right now. I've got so many other things going on. So the mold that you see out there, this piece right here, that's exactly what it looks like. This again was a quick and dirty just to make sure it would fit on a C6 without modifications. If I was going to have to do any modifications, I wanted to know. I could potentially reuse that instead of making another one, but I never intended that to be a final part. It was just a quick and dirty splash. So I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the mold. My plan is to hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow get the real front end made. That's going to be pushing it, because I didn't realize there were so many pieces to assemble to that. Clean and assemble, and then polish and all of that stuff. The advantage is the front end I don't really need. I'm actually going to cut it off. And if you look right there is a Grand Sport front end. So you can see the difference where here the headlights are in pockets, where on the original 63s, actually C2s, the headlights flipped 180 degrees. On the Grand Sport, the headlights are behind a plexiglass cover that wraps around the corner. And you can see the fender flare as well. The vents are different. Those were year model specific. Here is one with the Grand Sport front end. And all right, that's the C8 one where I had to extend it, fill in some things. And then there is a Grand Sport nose. So I could just use that nose directly. You can see the difference though between this nose and that one. There's other differences about the grill and all of that. So anyway, that's where I'm at now. So my goal is to get that mold put together at least by the end of the day. May be able to get it all polished and waxed, clean, polished, waxed, and treated. And then tomorrow I could put the gel coat in. Again, I'm going to try to use the black gel coat, but we use so much of it on the pieces so far, I'm not sure there's enough to do that. I may end up with another black and white one like I did with the rear section. Doesn't matter. I'm going to try to do it to where it matches so that the same side is black on each one if I have to do two colors. Same size black on each one, and then the other side will be gray. Okay, let's see. That's it. So the other thing is, ideally, I would love to get the mold cleaned, waxed, polished, treated, and then the gel coat on before I leave today. And then tomorrow, I could immediately start with the fiberglass. Otherwise, I'll have to start in the morning with the gel coat and then the fiberglass. And the problem is the gel coat has to sit for at least a little while to set. And I would rather be able to start fiberglassing in the morning. If it wasn't for that set time, it wouldn't be a big deal to do it all tomorrow, but that extra hour or whatever that the gel coat has to set is going to hurt me time-wise. Plus, temperatures cooled off significantly. I think the high today is going to be around 60. Low is going to be in the 40s. So it's going to take longer for everything to cure than it did when the temperature was higher. All right. And again, the idea would have been to put it in here, turn on the heat, but that's going to cause issues with the neighbors. All right. I think that's all I've got. It's plenty. All right. So go ahead. Oh, I was able to clean up the mold. You can see I used a combination of a razor blade and mineral spirits it cleaned right up. So it still needs to be re-waxed, maybe polished. I did some minor scratches with the razor blade. I was as careful as I could be. But anyway, it needs to be re-waxed and mold release put on it. But I don't plan on using it for a while. So not sure if I should treat it before I put it up or after. Probably before. It can't hurt. Hopefully from this point forward, the molds will be protected from the weather. They'll be either here or in my other storage area. So then next time, basically, they'll just need to be cleaned, wiped down, and can immediately be used. All right. Okay, that's it. Like, subscribe, hit the alert, hit the thanks if you want to donate. And if you don't like what I'm doing, you don't know Jack. Bye.